Hi, my name's Haley.
Hi, I'm Claire.
What brings you in today?
My husband has just recently passed away, and it's affecting our whole family.
So your husband has recently passed away and it's kind of affecting your family. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
How has it been affecting your family? Like in what ways?
Well, we're all sad. It was because of his death, but my son in particular he's been angry. That's how he's been expressing his anger, or his grieving is through the anger.
So your son's been very angry in dealing with his death?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is his anger like affecting you? Like is it affecting the family at all?
Well, he yells a lot, and then he spends a lot of time by himself, but he's disrespectful. He just, and not always. I'm not saying that he's always like that, but he can be, I'm not gonna help out. I'm not helping with the dishes. I'm not, and then rude to me, just disrespectful.
So it sounds like he's disrespectful and rude to you. So is it mainly towards you?
Yeah.
His anger?
Yeah.
And how does that kind of make you
Maybe
feel?
sometimes towards his sister. But
Oh, and towards others too?
yeah.
Okay. How about you? How have you been sort of dealing with this?
Well, it's been hard. I mean, we've got a farm that I have to, we have a crop out and I have to get it off. So I'm going to be combining. Having to deal with this all by myself has been tough. And then having the kids, of course, they're sad too. So it's been tough.
So it sounds like you've been dealing with a lot and it's been kind of a difficult time doing things by yourself.
Yeah, I've got support.
What kind of support do you have?
I've got, my mom comes down, she's been helping out, my brother. So they've been there. And actually we had a neighbor that came over and did some help. That was very nice.
And this support helps you and your family quite a bit.
Well, yeah, that means that I can leave the kids with somebody so I can go out and harvest.
So so you came in today to you're mostly worried about your son's anger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just worried that, he's angry and I've tried different things, but I just want to make sure he's okay.
So you're really worried about him and making sure he's okay. Have you done anything to sort of help with his anger yet? Or?
Well, we've written letters to Dad, and actually with the funeral, we wrote letters to Dad and put them in the coffin with him. So and then we've done that again, and then burnt them so they go to heaven. And we talk about Dad all the time,
And you think all these things have helped everyone so far?
Yeah, I think, writing the letters to Dad and making sure that it's only a relationship with him and his father, I think that's really good. But, I've been doing some reading, so I've been trying to help the kids out as much as possible so that, they don't suffer too, it's going to be a big hole in their life, but I wanted them to get through it okay.
So it sounds like you're really worried more about your kids right now with dealing with your husband's loss.
Yeah, well, because they were my responsibility. I've chosen to have them, so yeah, I've got to get them raised, and now it's up to me.
So you said your son's angry a lot of the times because of, after your husband died. How did your husband die?
He had heart failure. We're not exactly sure exactly what happened, but it was 3 weeks of maybe he's going to live, maybe he's going to get a heart transplant, maybe he's not, and eventually they had to unhook him from the machine. So it was pretty intense. It was a pretty sad time.
So it sounds like it was more of a sudden thing, no one really had time to sort of grieve.
No.
Going through it, they just kind of...
No. He had a cough. Well, he wasn't feeling well, and he had a rash. So he went to emergency, and he sat there forever and went home just because it was taking too long for him to get through. And then he went back to emergency, and because I can't remember why, but eventually, because he was a stubborn stubborn kid, a guy. I was gonna call him a stubborn old goat. So, but he was a stubborn guy, so I eventually got him to go to my doctor, who said, oh, you've got pneumonia. And it turned out that pneumonia and heart failure both have the same reaction, like you fill up with fluid and all that kind of stuff, but
Okay.
it's not the, anyway, so he eventually was admitted to hospital because of heart failure, and no one checked, they just assumed it was pneumonia. So it was really quick, and we couldn't talk to him because he was intubated. It was pretty bad.
So it was a pretty quick and kind of a horrible death.
Well, we ended up 10 days in Edmonton, so, I mean, he was being looked after. I feel sorry. I feel sad, because maybe I could have let him go earlier, but they were telling me that maybe he could get a heart transplant and that he could have his life back, so.
So you kind of did have some hope up until to the end, so you
Absolutely.
kind of weren't
And they-
really like expecting it fully.
Yeah, and when they tell you that they can't do any more for it, they turn the machine off, which is very traumatic.
Yeah, that
They
does
don't give you
sound
time to, like, you say goodbye fast,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's $10,000 a day to run it, so.
Did your family get a chance to say goodbye?
Well, my kids, yeah, we did. We got a chance to say goodbye. We were there, but that still doesn't change the fact. It was tough. And then we had to drive all the way home from Edmonton.
And do you think this, like, more of a sudden death has affected your kids more so than if it wasn't?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't get to talk to him. They didn't get to say, they got to say goodbye, but they didn't get to talk. He didn't get to talk back to them. You know what I mean? Like, it was one side or the other. So, anyway, it was tough.
So, how was, like, your husband's relationship with everyone in the family, like, especially your son, because you're worried about your son's anger? Do you think their relationship could have been a reason?
It's possible. He was, their relationship was distant, so at that time, I mean, they had been close prior to, but Eric was turning 11, and they just had come apart, like they were going in
Okay.
two different directions. So, yeah.
So they were kind of distant right before his death, but
Right
they
before his
used to
death.
be close.
They used to be close, so I don't know, you know, he's never said anything, I mean, it's only been recent, so, but, I wonder if that has something to do with it, yeah.
What do you think could be other reasons why he would be so angry?
Well, yeah, grief is a hard one for anybody, at least I find, anybody to understand, and my 9-year-old, yeah, she's not finding it as hard, but I don't think she gets it as much. Whereas my son, I think he understands more of the finality of it. So I think that's hard for him.
So your daughter's a little bit younger, you said, and your son's older, so you think your son
Has-
understands it more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he understands it better.
And you think this might be another reason that could be impacting why he's so
Yeah.
angry about it?
And he doesn't know how to channel some of the stuff, so, I mean, there are other things that I've done to help him.
What sort of things have you done to help him?
I have him in football, excuse me, so that he fights every time he goes. That's what I mean by being disrespectful. He's mad when he goes, but every time he comes back, he's so much happier and so much in a better mood, and you'll say, was that worth going to? Yeah. And then we have to have the same fight all over again the next day. Like, it just doesn't change, so.
So
you
it
know.
sounds like he fights with you to go to football, but once he gets there, it's actually, he
It's-
feels better afterwards?
Yeah, the physical activity, it's camaraderie, at least that's what I think anyway. So yeah, I've had him go.
So do you sort of think like the physicalness of it is kind of like an outlet for his anger?
Yeah, and I've read that exercise helps. So having all this running and, you know, and then interacting with people is good.
So that has helped him so far. Have you done anything else as a family to kind of help?
Well, I
Very
sent them to the Greystone Bereavement Camp, and I'm not sure how much that helped because they both came back and said they didn't talk about anything, and that it didn't work for them. But I mean, they're just kids, so.
So you sent them to a bereavement camp, but they didn't or they said that it didn't really help them very much.
Yeah.
And did you send them, or did they do anything else after that to sort of help, besides what you've done with your family?
I haven't sent them to counseling. But I have, I mean, if we're missing Dad, we light a candle. What else have we done? I'm gonna put Eric into hockey again. My daughter is right into her horses, so I've kept their life as stable as possible. I mean, for day-to-day life, my husband wasn't around anyway, so they're used to me being around. It's just that they, you know, like when Dad would come home, he's the fun guy, and, you know.
So
And we did have it, so when, you know, when we were fighting, like when we're having problems with the kids, like maybe that's what I'm missing. When we had problems with the kids, you know, we tag team. I was like, okay, it's your turn, you know, before I lose my shit.
So are you finding it more difficult without like him there to kind of like, because you said you're trying to like keep everything the same to the up as much as you can, and you're finding that pretty difficult? Or is it easier than you
no,
expected?
you know what, it's I mean, day-to-day wise, I mean, I'm used to my own routine, it was okay, but, you know, keeping the kids in the same school, same friends, same house, same, you know, like the day-to-day stuff, so, you know, it's tough, but I mean, they know it, and I think it keeps stability, and we'll see how it works out in the future, but.
So you came in here today to basically talk about like your son. Is that like your main concern about your son, or
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, when he's angry, it's hard on me too, you know.
How does his anger make you feel when he's angry towards you?
Well, you know, I want to fix him, you know, I guess that's part of it, but I'm grieving too, you know, and so, you know, when he's upset, it's like, how do I help him? What do I do? You know, there's only so, it's hard to take when someone's always mad at you.
So you find it kind of like conflicting to try to like figure out what to do when he's angry, because you're grieving, but you know his anger is probably part of his grieving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that too. I mean, yeah, I've read some stuff, but but it's tough on me because I'm grieving too, and so when you're having someone mad at you all the time, it just makes you feel.
So his anger kind of makes you.
Accelerates, you know, yeah, my anxiety, I guess.
So you having a lot of anxiety. What's your anxiety about mainly?
Well, I'm all of a sudden single. I have to provide for the family, and I have to raise them all by myself.
So are your biggest worries more like raising your children by yourself and like just the whole life change?
Excuse me? Yeah. Yeah, what does it mean for us right now? I mean, it's also fresh, so it's hard to know where I'm gonna go from here.
So, what exactly things does your son say to you when he's angry that makes you feel this way?
That's a good question. What does he say?
Or like, what does he do when he's angry? Or like.
Yeah, it's a good question. What does he do? He stomps around. He's not going. He's not doing anything. Let's just bring up football. He's just not going. He's not gonna put on his clothes. He's argumentative. It's just, you know, you feel like you want to cushion him.
Yeah.
He takes his time. He's late getting out of the house. He's crying. He's, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going through a lot.
Yeah, and then, like I said, when you bring him back from football, that's why I'm going to put him in hockey again, so that he keeps his friends, he keeps, you know, like activity. It's healthy for him. It's 3-4 times a week, so.
So you think for sure the physical activities that you're putting in through is definitely helped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I have to pay the price of being yelled at every time we go out the door. But yeah.
But it's worth it?
Yeah, I think so. I do, yeah.
So what ways do you think, like have you tried anything else at all? Like I know you said you tried the bereavement camp. you have put him in some physical activities. Have you tried anything else at all? Like, you said you didn't do counseling.
Not yet, no, it's so fresh, you know, it's hard to know how to deal with this. First of all, we have to make sure that the crop is off in the bin so that we've got some money to pay the bills. There's lots of them, and
So it sounds like you're also worried about like farming, getting everything done for that.
finances are
Yeah.
very important, yeah.
Do you think it would be beneficial for him to come here to kind of like talk it through with me as well? And maybe like you can come too and we can work on like some coping skills?
Oh, that would be a good idea,
Yeah.
yeah.
So today you kind of came in to talk about like your husband's died recently and your family's been sort of dealing with that. It's been hard because it was like a more sudden death. And your son, you've noticed, has been really angry because of this. You said possibly because their relationship was pretty distant near his death, and his anger kind of upsets you in a way because you're trying to cope and deal with this, but his anger like upsets you a bit more, and you feel like you're kind of obligated to help your kids out and like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And do you think so? Like the main point is you wanted to figure out ways to help your son cope because he's very angry, as well as help you cope with your son's anger.
Yes,
Correct.
very much so.
So do you think him coming in would really benefit with that? And like you
Yeah, we
come
can
into
try
it?
that, yeah, that would be good, because I would really like to know how to help him, you know, get through this. Yeah.
Do you think you want to meet sometime next week? You can both come in. I can talk to both of you separately and then try to talk to both of you together to see what will kind of work for you guys.
Sure, sounds good, yeah,
Okay.
okay,